As the world falls away, and I can't find a reason. As the world turns to gray, it's killing me unwillingly, and I am just the same as you.
For the second time in this reaction playlist, I'm going to be reacting to CinemaSins again on Everything Wrong with Shrek the Third in 16 minutes or less. Now, in my opinion, Shrek the Third is by far one of the weakest films of the Shrek franchise. I mean, it's bad, but at the same time, I've seen much worse. I've seen much worse. I'm looking at you, Shark Tale. Anyway, I think that considering the fact that he's going to do Shrek movies in September next year, he's going to do the fourth movie. And if the fifth movie, yes, there's going to be a fifth movie, it's going to be premiered in sometime in 2019, and it's on DVD of that before September, he might do an Everything Wrong on that movie in September in 2020 as well. I didn't mean to say 19, I'm just saying. I don't remember the release dates of what's going on. But anyway, let's begin. Everything Wrong with Shrek the Third.
Man, this kid is an asshole. He rides balloons to the moon to fish for what I guess is cloud trout. By the way, you know the dark part of the moon is supposed to be solid and not a nesting ground for delinquent kids, right? Also,
you noticed that until this
Pixar,
movie you decided to do that? I mean,
for the opening logo. Wait, up came out 2 years after this? Well, DreamWorks still totally wants to be Pixar.
I mean, you've looked at the beginning of these intros before. I mean, you looked at you looked at you looked at Madagascar that had the same opening that this movie did. So why are you complaining about that? It really makes no sense. I mean, I think he didn't thought of it now, but if he's going to do the same thing with the other movies, it will probably be much more irritating.
Jesus, movie, are you trying to go all Harry Potter on us? I know Prisoner of Azkaban was that series' third entry, but this is a totally different franchise, full of magical creatures, and sentient animals, and wizards, and apparating, and a protagonist with 2 trusted allies, and... wait.
This is worse than love letters! I hate dinner theater!
Then why the f*** are you even here?
Yeah.
Anyone at your table
Same reaction I hear that haters are in a place that they really hate.
So, Pinocchio secretly loves dinner theater, and for that reason we get this cheap wooden joke? At least this movie's telling me early on what passes for humor.
Do you mind? Do you mind? Boring!
Gingerbread Man would go on to transform into a different magical creature, Twitter Troll.
Twitter Troll, oh my god.
Lit up? You might say candles, but then I'd call you a filthy liar, because this is a steady light bulb type of light. Oh yeah, remember that storyline about the fairy godmother in the last movie? No? Me either. I had to Wikipedia that.
Seriously, did you watch?
The second movie had the courtesy to not depend totally on having the knowledge of what happened in the first one. I get that this is a bad fit for a king, but before he turned back into a frog, a regular-sized king slept here, right? With his regular-sized wife, but it can easily fit 2 grown-ass ogres.
Oh my god.
Morning breath. I know. Isn't it wonderful?
I'm glad that the Shrek franchise basically became the Addams Family over time. Everything that is terrible to us is wonderful to them. Nice try, movie, but no matter how cute you try and make these dragon donkey babies, I'm always going to remember that they're a crossbred, unholy
oh my god, I remember what he said at the last movie he said.
I'm not calling this Shrek the Turd. I'm not going to play this song for a number of reasons, but just trust me. It's Royal Pain by the Eels, which is a great song by an awesome band. So I continue to wonder how the Shrek franchise can be so good at musicking while being so terrible at movieing.
In your opinion, when you sing the first and second movie, that's what you do. These people are.
Wait a minute, how the f*** did the sails catch fire?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I'm gonna be thinking about those sails for the rest of the movie. Damn movie, you've already ripped off Holy Grail with the coconuts and Dumb and Dumber with the toenail grinder in the first 5 minutes. You do know the difference between homage and outright theft, right? No? Alright, carry on. Yeah, but the king and queen from the last movie never dressed like this. Movie will go to all the lengths for one stupid f***ing sight gag.
Oh yeah!
I hate this moment. I know it's supposed to be hilarious, but still.
Out of my Shrek.
Who do you think we're kidding?
Oh my god.
I am an ogre.
Isn't this the plot point of every Shrek movie? And how many times does he have to remind us of this?
What if, theoretically,
Yeah?
They were little ogre feet.
Damn, if this movie takes a hard left into ogre porn, I gotta say, I'd be much more on board.
Have you seen a baby lately? They just eat and poop, and they cry when they poop.
Father, listing all the reasons babies are terrible cliche aside, I think this was just the movie's excuse to say poop a million times in 5 seconds. Wait, Shrek has nipples? Like, has he always had nipples? And I've just never noticed
Oh
it?
my
And
God.
so, what are they for? I haven't had this many questions about unnecessary nipples since Batman and Robin.
Don't forget to pay the gardener, Lillian.
For explaining.
I am proud to call you my son. And I'm proud to call you my frog king dad-in-law.
Oh, Shrek, never change. You had Farquaad in the first movie, and you crazy comic dispensers have cracked up all the censors with this double entendre.
The frog king is dead.
Movie directly inspires the most irritating part of Deadpool 2.
I
It's a
didn't
funeral, so
understand that
therefore
joke,
it
I'm
must rain
sorry.
no matter what. At this point in the movie, they're playing the Wings version
Yeah,
of Live and
it
Let
really
Die,
doesn't
and I have to
fit
ask,
the
did
scene
anyone
whatsoever.
actually think this through? This is not a Marvel song
I
that
didn't
pays
even
respect
like
to a
this
morose
song
occasion like
whatsoever.
Hallelujah
I
did in the
don't.
first Shrek. It's a goddamn Bond theme.
Cinderella is in far, far away right now, eating bonbons.
Wait, but Prince Charming just named off all the actual plots that the villains in the pub were involved with. If Cinderella is in this universe, she should be married to Charming, right? If you're gonna subvert fantasy movie, at least get your straight.
Who wants their happily ever after?
The Charming ordered fuzzy navels for everyone when he got to the bar, but Mabel hasn't made and the rest of the place has been busy threatening him for the last 2 minutes. So where the hell did these drinks come from? Also, is that really a fuzzy navel? I thought it's just peach and orange juice, but this shit's got like pineapple and lime, and I mean, it could be a fuzzy navel, just like the drink Jason Bateman orders in Game Night could be a Harvey Wallbanger. But I'm sitting it until I receive confirmation.
I don't know you, but I like to.
Why can none of the other cats speak? These cartoons are really going to have to get to the bottom of this animal language puzzle. Also,
Yeah.
man, this franchise assumes people have a lot of interest in anthropomorphized sexual activity. Also, why can't Fiona go on this voyage too? Arthur is her family, right? And she's been a badass up until now. Remember that Matrix bullshit against Robin Hood in the first movie? Sure, she's pregnant, but Shrek doesn't know that.
Yeah.
You, my friend, are royally.
What? Screwed? Is that any worse than the Frog King thing this movie got away with earlier? Movie that barely scratches feature length has time for an extended dream sequence.
Yeah.
Better out than in, I always say.
Yes, you do. In every f***ing Shrek movie.
When a man has a certain feelings for a woman. I know how it happened.
Huh. And here all this time my Shrek fanfic had him pulling out and finishing on Fiona's tits.
How does
Oh
it
my
Dude, if you're
God.
gonna make this joke, make it with a character that hasn't already fathered at least 5 offspring.
When have you ever heard the phrase, as sweet as an ogre, or as nurturing as an ogre?
We f***ing get it. Ogres are terrible. You're worried about that. Jesus, give it a rest.
Oh my God.
Shrek
I
even
got
know
a feeling
where
that
to go.
he's,
Harold only got
with
out
the
of
next
his
movie
mane
he's going to
before
say,
he
he's going
broke.
to
And it didn't
rant
even seem
about
like
this,
Lillian
but
knew he
even more
existed.
irritating.
Don't burn all my
Yeah,
frankincense
oh
and
my
myrrh.
God.
Yes, at least one of the screenwriters.
I think in this movie, the ogre thing isn't really much more of an issue, other than Shrek and Fiona are going to be mother and
How
father.
did you receive the wedgies when you are clearly not aware of the underpants?
Let's just say some things are better left unsaid and leave it at that.
The only reason you are leaving this unsaid is because it is a total lie. The fact that Donkey is even leaving something unsaid is proof enough for me.
So then I was all like, I'd rather get the Black Plague and lock myself in an Iron Maiden than go out with you.
Lines like this illustrate why movies like Shrek should stay at 1 or 2 chapters, because every single time the dialogue peppers medieval references into modern lingo, it begins to pile up and become stale. Man, this movie's so derivative of other movies that I totally believe that horse just got hit by a golf ball.
Oh my
You
God.
better run, you little punk, no good.
Okay, that
Remind
joke
me
is
why
actually
we're in
kind of
high school for this
funny.
sequence? I mean, I guess it's tangentially related to the Arthurian fable, but why f***ing high school? What sense does this make to any of this goddamn story?
Okay, that's part 1, and I'll get to part 2 next.